on the book China-Africa Science, Technology and Innovation Collaboration. This edited volume brings together researchers from various disciplines to explore science, technology, and innovation cooperation between China and Africa countries by using different perspectives. This book contributes significantly to the knowledge and understanding of the all different dimensions of China-Africa STI cooperation and can reach out to all stakeholders with evidence-based research. For the discussions, we have all three editors of the book, respected Professor Mammo sir, Professor Baskaran sir, and Professor Mingfeng Tang ma'am. Now, I would like to invite our dynamic leader and president of Indian Research Scholars Association, Mr. Vikash Kumar sir, for welcome address.
Thank
Over
you.
to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Subhangi madam, for inviting me. I will not take more time because we are already 10 to 11 minutes. So, first of all, my heartfelt congratulations to the all three editors for bringing the excellent academic volume, China Africa Science, Technology, and Innovation Collaboration. And I would like to also welcome and thanks to Professor Mammo sir for giving me opportunity, the book launch discussion opportunity to the Indian Research Scholars Association. So on behalf of me and on behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, so you're most welcome. I would like to welcome to Professor Baskaran sir. I think sir is belong from my field. I'm also the student and scholar of the political science, and sir is also from the same field. So you're most welcome, sir, in this platform. I would like to also welcome to Professor Mingfeng Tang, madam. Uh, and thanks, madam, for accepting my request uh, to the short notice. I would like to also welcome to all the participants. I think in this uh, session, several participants have joined from the Malaysia, Africa, India, and also the other parts of the world. So, on behalf of me and on behalf of the IRSA, I would like to welcome to all the participants, executive committee members, and organizing committee members for such a wonderful initiative. So I would like to also welcome my guru, my teacher, and my mentor. I think sir is present here to Professor Lakhvinder Singh, a dynamic personality in the field of innovation and economics. Recently, sir has also edited a excellent volume reimagining innovation system in the COVID-19 and post-COVID world. It has been published from the Routledge. So, on behalf of me and on behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, I would like to welcome to my teacher and guru, Professor Lakhvinder Singh sir. I can see on the screen to Professor Uday Bhanji and also other faculty members who have joined from the different universities. So, because I have limited words and I have limited time, so I would like to invite to Dr. Subhangi for the further proceeding. Over to you, Dr. Subhangi.
Thank you, sir. Uh, Today's first panelist is Professor Minfeng Tang ma'am. She is a professor of finance and economics, dean in charge of International Affairs Office, founder and director of Sino-French Innovation Research Center, Southwestern University of Finance and Economics, China. She will be introducing the book and discuss part 1, 2, and 3 of the book. I request you, ma'am, please come to the virtual stage and enlighten us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Professor Ambo. And it is our honor to be invited to present our book today. And many thanks to the India Research Scholars Association. It's really our honor to meet all of you in the community. And first of all, just you have already mentioned who are the editors of this book. Like you have seen these three uh, editors. We are very happy to join you and Professor Mammo, and he is a leading professor and also researcher in the Africa, and he has already been granted many titles and an expert in the research field of innovation. And Professor Baskaran Angathevar, and he is also head of the University of Malaya Law South Research Center and professor in the Department of Political Science, Public Administration, Development Studies, Faculty of Business and Economics, University of Malaya. And me, just as Professor Ambo, he has already introduced, I come from China and based in Chengdu. Actually, there is a direct flight from Chengdu to Bangalore, so it's very close to India, I would say. And why we three editors we edit this book, and why we focus on China and Africa, and why we emphasize the specific field China, Africa science, technology, and innovation collaboration. And why the editors are Professors Mammo, Muchie, Angathevar, Baskaran, and myself. Why not others? So I just would like to explain the reasons and address these three questions one by one. The first one is that because we have known that in the academia and also in the business side, the public has an growing interest in Africa and China relations. Some criticize the relationship between China and Africa is only in favor of China, or some criticize Africa. This business, this cooperation model is not one model. So, what is the truth about the relationship between China and Africa? Are there any scientific evidence to show the true China and Africa relations? So we would like to, satisfy the interests of the public. Another reason is that China and Africa, these two parties, they have more or less the similar size of population. So if we add the total population of these two, one continent, one country, that is really count for almost 1/3 of the world's population. And in total, the population of China and Africa compose 2.8 billion people. So it's really makes sense to study these two, very big and very large areas. And also, China and Africa, they have the same needs. They want to achieve peaceful and sustainable development. And also, if we look at the relationship between China and Africa, it's not just they start the relationship a few years ago, but actually, China Africa has had a very close relationship with many years. And through our book and the book chapter contributors, Actually, they have offered plenty of evidence to show that China-Africa cooperation is really a good example of South-to-South cooperation. It provides a new cooperation model to the world, how countries from the South, global South, they can cooperate each other and achieve a win-win success. And why our book? We talk about China-Africa science, technology, and innovation collaboration. As I said, both sides they work to achieve peaceful, sustainable development. And these development goals actually are guided by the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations by 2023. So how these two parties they can learn from each other, particularly from the Chinese side, because China has made enormous efforts to fulfill all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Particularly, for example, the campaign against the poverty, how China can successfully get nearly how many over 99 million people out of the poverty. I think Africa countries they can learn some lessons from the Chinese experience. Another one is that what we have heard from the video or some existing papers, newspapers, or literature. Some scholars say that the cooperation between China and Africa is only limited to infrastructure. But actually, what we have seen that the cooperation between China and Africa has extended to many fields. And science, technology, and innovation collaboration really can help these two parts to achieve success in different fields like agriculture, climate change, manufacturing, health, space, telecommunication, and other areas. So China-Africa collaboration is multidimensional and very comprehensive and also mutually beneficial. So both parties, they are more than willing to cooperate with each other and to build for a community with a shared future for mankind. And the next thing is why we three editors we would like to work together and edit this book, because all of us we have the education background related to innovation, and we are very interested in the topic China, Africa, science and technology and innovation collaboration. And we have already had very, great and wonderful working experience with each other. And we trust each other when we can cooperate with each other. And that's why we could work together on this book and get this book finally published last year in December 2024. And now I would like to give you an overview of the structure of this book. And first, as you have seen, this is the introduction. I just give you a brief intro just now. And then we have 9 parts in this book. The first part is about China-Africa collaboration in higher education. And the second part is about China-Africa research collaboration and training. And the third part is Africa collaboration in agriculture, food security, and environmental management. The part 4 is about China-Africa collaboration in communications and space. And the part 5 This section talks about the evolution of China-Africa collaborations in science, technology, and innovation. Part 6, China-Africa collaboration in digital technologies. Part 8, China-Africa collaboration in health sector. And the last section is China-Africa collaboration in manufacturing. So I will start from the first three sessions. The first chapter is talk about China-Africa higher education and research collaboration in minerals and transport and agriculture. We have 5 contributors to this chapter. So this chapter, they show us a review of higher education and research programs in minerals sector and transport and related fields and other agriculture sector and other collaborative programs, including BRICS Joint Research Program. Through their research, we can see that the cooperation in minerals, transport, and agriculture, and is really one cooperation. And the next chapter, they talk about the path of China-Africa higher education cooperation in training scientific and technological innovation talents for Africa. We have 4 chapter contributors, and in this chapter, it sorts out the history of China-Africa higher education cooperation development. They use data to tell what are the challenges and opportunities for China-Africa higher education corporations, and what could be the solutions to address the challenges. So that is the main idea of the chapter 3. And chapter 4, this is a detailed case study. There are 5 chapter contributors. They take one very good university, a leading university in China, which is called Beijing Foreign Studies University, and tell us how China and Africa, they cooperate with each other to train not just language experts, but also some other talents in research. And chapter 5, like you have seen here, this is a quantitative research. It uses longitude data about Africa scientific publications from 1971 to 2019 in the Web of Science database. So it provides evidence to show that the research cooperation between Chinese scholars and Africa scholars, the increase, the important position, Africa researchers in the world research field. And the papers cooperate with Chinese researchers attract more citations. So this is really to show that China-Africa scientific research collaboration is more about inclusive and one-one cooperation than exclusive and zero-sum game. And the chapter 6, this is we have 2 book chapter contributors, and they select some cases to show us how the technology transfer can be done between these two, from 2 sides, China, Africa. And it provides an overview of the technology transfer question in China-Africa relations with examples provided by China and different actors in Africa and they also provide some suggestions and recommendations to undertake further research. And chapter 7, this is focused on Sino-Africa Joint Research Center. We have 3 chapter contributors, and this paper it reviewed the history and development of China-Africa educational cooperation, combined with the talent education practice of Sino-Africa Joint Research Center, Chinese Academy of Sciences, and it introduces the status of China-Africa education in the new period, reviews the opportunities and challenges faced by the current higher education of African students in China. And they also propose some suggestions to further enhancing the cooperation between China and Africa in education field. And the chapter 8, it is from the practitioners. Actually, it's not from the academia side. And in this chapter, they use the fresh evidence and to show us China actually followed the world trend like some other leading mining countries. They start from the joint research project and then shift to the establishment of the China South Africa Joint Research Center for exploitation and utilization of the mineral resources. And China and South Africa have cooperated in depth for over 10 years and made fruitful achievements. So this actually, this chapter shows us, even though the cooperation is related to the mining, sector, however, through this established foundation of the China South Africa Joint Research Center, has trained many talents and organized several academic seminars, and also introduced South Africa experts to work in China, and they together, applied for dozens of patents. So really, through this cooperation, they have achieved a great success. And the part 3, so I have mentioned the talk about China-Africa collaboration in agriculture and food security and environmental management. So chapter 9, like you say, we have 2 chapter contributors, and they show us China and Africa have a long-standing partnership in various sectors, and agriculture and food security have emerged as key areas of collaboration in recent years. So this chapter argues that while the cooperation between China and Africa in agriculture and food security presents significant opportunities for addressing food security and promoting sustainable development in Africa, but there are also some challenges should be addressed. And how to address these challenges, this paper also proposed some suggestions. Chapter 10, we have 1 contributor, and the chapter employs a biographical narrative perspective and textualized China-Africa collaboration in food security. So you can see that food security is really important issue for Africa. So how China and Africa can cooperate with each other and to address this important issue. And this paper gives us some suggestions. And chapter 11, they talk about climate change and other environmental issues. There are three book chapter contributors. So they talk about you know environmental issues. It's not just the concern of China and Africa, is for the whole world. So how these two parties, they can cooperate with these other and address this key issue. So this paper give us some facts and also suggestions. So up to now, I have already give you a very brief introduction of the first three sections. So I will transfer the floor to Baskaran, please. Thank you very much for your listening.
Okay, thank you, Ming. Thank you. May I share the screen from my side? Shall you allow me?
Thank you.
Welcome, Bas.
Yeah, just a minute. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I would like to start my presentation with a few additional, let me thank properly the coordinators and organizers of the event. I warmly appreciate and express my profound thanks to Dr. Vikash Kumar, the president of Indian Research Scholars Association, and his colleagues, Dr. Shbangi Amle, Dr. Hemant Kumar, Ms. Manorama Kuntal, Ms. Naini Prasad, for all of you, our heartfelt thanks, appreciation. And Mammo told me that the Indian Research Scholars Association wants to organize a book discussion event on China-Africa book. I was pleasantly surprised. Indian Association of Scholars interested in our book discussion, which is about India and China-Africa. But I always felt the academic links between Indian scholars and Chinese scholars could be much stronger and should be much stronger than what we see today. And I hope this kind of events will, accelerate the pace of forging such strong relationship gradually, in near future. The second thing is, like Ming mentioned about the editors, our relationship and how we work together. See, I know Mammo for over 25 years. We worked together in Middlesex University Business School, London, and we did PhD the same institution, Science Policy Research, research unit at the University of Sussex in UK. I know Ming for 20 years through Globalix Scholars Network, and we have been working together, producing many joint research outputs. And when Mammo said about this book, I immediately said we should do together with the Ming. And that time, the idea was, because we have worked for more than so many years and we produced so many things, but we didn't produce jointly books. Only myself and Mammo, we produced book projects. Previous books were just about 200 pages, about 10 to 15 chapters. So I thought this is going to be like that. But when we conceived the book idea, we thought of running a workshop or mini conference to generate contributors, chapters. And even before doing that, we were overwhelmed with so many interested contributions from all across Africa. And we did the workshop, conference, hybrid conference. it became obvious that we are going to be inundated with contributions. We had received more than 40 contributions. Finally, we settled on 30. We were worried how to do this in one volume, but we persevered and finally we produced a book. The volume of this book is, uh, I don't know whether you can see the book volume is 600 pages. I'll show you after the end of the presentation. Okay, so the idea behind, like what Ming explained, the importance of global South-South cooperation. For us, the framing of the philosophical understanding is South-South cooperation, how to strengthen it, whether there is a separate, distinctive model of cooperation emerging through China-Africa collaboration, which can be emulated elsewhere. The other thing was, for over 10 years or so, the Western media, Western scholars, with concerted effort, they were creating, depicting a kind of negative portrait of this relationship, saying this is a debt trap. China is a new colonizer of Africa, and so on. To counter argue or counter these kind of arguments with evidence, we started this project. I hope we have produced such evidence which completely negates and counter those Western narrative. So now let me briefly go through the outlines of next three parts. Part 4 is China-Africa collaboration in telecommunication and space, 3 chapters. Part 5, evolution of China-Africa collaboration in science, technology, innovation, 5 chapters. Part 6, China-Africa collaboration in digital technologies, 2 chapters. And part 4, chapter 12 is about technology, information, power, the role of CGTN Africa. CGTN is the China Global Television Network, Africa and China, Africa relations. So this is authored by 3 scholars. The key points from this paper is they examine the media role in shaping perceptions about various issues, and they focus on CGTN's broadcasting experience from Nairobi, and they identify different issues and challenges, and from that experience they highlight for particularly tech-enabled people-to-people exchange, how it is built, and they explore how does technology transfer and cooperation offer opportunities for more mutually beneficial relationship. Uh, the chapter 13 is China-South Africa collaboration astronomy. It's a multiple authors, so many authors contribute. I think all of them are scientists. And they talk about bilateral collaboration, which started in 2016. They focus mainly on talent developments, joint research, resource sharing. They identify strong potential in astrophysics and capacity building for joint collaboration further. And they also conceptualize and highlight the shared BRICS vision in science. It's very important. It's not just China, Africa. It's also BRICS and global South as a whole. It's very important transition we need to be aware of. The next chapter, chapter 14, part 4, is technology transfer and technological spillovers from Chinese tech giant in North Africa, the case of Huawei. In Algeria, the authors are El Hadi and Abdul Qadir Juflet, and they focus on Huawei's operation in Algeria, particularly in the context of China's digital Silk Road, program, which aims to promote connectivity via training and infrastructure across Africa. And they particularly look at the technology spillover, how it reshapes North Africa's ICT landscape. And they also discuss the local capacity building through Chinese MNC's involvement in Nigeria, Algeria, and Africa in general. In part 5, the chapter 15 is about evolution of China-Africa cooperation in science, technology, and innovation, way to capacity building. The three contributing authors, they mainly look at STG, the STA ties, which evolved in 3 stages over a period of time: mutual exchange, direct aid, capacity building. They focus on two programs, Cost Up 1.0 and 2.0. They also looked at the global challenges and innovation needs in the context of Africa. And they emphasize on clear strategic direction and expanded technology cooperation. Chapter 16 of Part 5, Science, Technology, Innovation, Synergic, Cooperative and Collaborative Relation between China and Africa. Our author is Manir Kamba, and the key points from this chapter is it analyzes how China's STI benefits Africa's development. It advocates for synergy between China and Africa's STI goals and objectives. It mapped out the coherence and expected synergies between China STA objectives and ongoing African initiatives. Finally, it recommends integrating China's initiative into African frameworks. The next chapter 17 is an overview of China-Africa collaborations, opportunities, and criticism by Peter Chivai. So he overviews the China-Africa economic collaborations, and he largely views China's investment in infrastructure, training, and trade as progressive and mutually beneficial. He urges that incorporating political dynamics into trade models is important. He also urges Africa should take advantage of the rivalry between China and USA and the Western countries, European Union and so on, and use as kind of bargaining chip or leverage for better deals in investment and trade. The chapter 18 in part 5, Evolution and Prospect of China-Africa Cooperation in Science, Technology, Innovation. These are the authors, contributing authors. The key points from this chapter is they argue that STA is central to China-Africa cooperation growth, and they review progress, mechanisms, and future scope, and they highlight cooperation evolving through 4 key stages, and they push for deeper and broader STA partnership. Chapter 19 by Suraya Ijit, China-Africa Multifaceted Collaboration. This chapter covers China's aid in infrastructure, education, health, and etc. And it emphasizes lack of political conditionality for providing Chinese development aid. And it says that because of this, it provides an alternative model of cooperation, unlike the Western cooperation model. And it notes that China's rising resource needs and African trade linkages and kind of relations based on those developments. And he also critiques Western views and highlights mutual narratives. Part 6, Chapter 20, China-Africa Collaboration, Digital Technology, Present and Future Challenges. We are the authors along with Xiaomeng Liu, and we highlight digital technology as key pillar of economic growth, and we take the case studies of Huawei, Alibaba, and analyze how they are helping aiding digital infrastructures development in Africa. We also do some case studies on education, e-commerce, and finance. We identify some literature gaps and suggest some future collaboration path for the future. Chapter 21, Part 6 is analysis of Africa business to consumer e-commerce development and outlook on China's investment in Africa. These are the contributing authors. It focuses on development of e-commerce in African countries from 4 aspects. Number 1, information technology. Number 2, economic development. Number 3, logistics. And 4, e-commerce laws and regulations. The chapter analyzes characteristics and trends of e-commerce development across Africa. It recommends China's investment in the digital infrastructure, logistics industry, e-commerce platforms, and third-party payment platforms. I think I have reached end of my presentation. Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank
your
you very much.
insightful
Thank you.
remarks.
I just want to show the book.
Ah, yes, 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 sir. Please, please.
The book. Yes, we
Please,
have the
please,
book
sir,
here.
please. Ah, you can so, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so it's okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mammo, you want me to share your slides from my side, or you
Yes.
will read your slides?
Yes, please do. Yeah, please do.
Okay. Okay.
Once again, thank you so much, sir. Our
Thank
third
you.
panelist is Professor Mammo, sir. Sir is a
Yes.
professor at University of Gondar and Gondar, Ethiopia, and adjunct senior research professor at Tshwane University of Technology, Pretoria, South Africa. Sir, we discussed parts 7, 8, and 9 of the book. May I now invite you, sir, for your
Yes.
insights. Please, sir.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I really appreciate you all very much. First,
And
the
Professor Mammo sir has already delivered an excellent lecture on the quest for paradigm and mindset shift from the military industrial complex to the humanity life's warrior complex. I think in 13th March. So Indian
yes,
scholars had taken so interest in this lecture. So you're most welcome, Professor Mammo.
I think I must say, since you mentioned that, let me start with that one.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think both China, India, Africa, all of us, before the colonialists came, before the British came to you, and also for China too, all the colonialists came, and Africa is the same. We had values, really sincerely, philosophies that will make us all unite and live together without fighting each other. All right, you have it. Vasudeva Kutubakam.
Hmm.
India, the Chinese have extraordinary philosophies. You not believe it? Yeah, the indigenous knowledge created from all of us. I think we should value it, go back, and unite ourselves, and not fight each other ever again, and collaborate with each other. To be honest with you, we should not copy others and make mistakes. We have been making a lot of mistakes, dividing ourselves, and for example, India and China must also unite, work together. We have now BRICS, many things like that. Africans must also unite. They are all divided and fighting. So we need some situation like that. And in fact, this book of ours is also very good because it's a great uh, mission and vision and objective is how to motivate and even influence the policymakers to make sure they really learn how to do a win-win relationship, not one losing, one gaining type relationship. No, all winning and no one losing. Some new approach is what we need to develop, and that's I think what I strongly suggest. That from what you just mentioned, I wasn't thinking about it, but since my doctor Vikashi, you provoked me, so I thought I better say the same thing. It aligns with what our Mei, Professor Ming, and our brother Baskaran also have also elaborated. So let's try to really do this. Now we need to work on not just Africa China science technology collaboration. We should even have India included and the BRICS included. We should even create We are now thinking about with a professor from China, a great brother I have here. He's a professor at UNISA. His name is Professor Shi. He's amazing. He is now thinking of creating a BRICS Center of Excellence, Innovation Center of Excellence, Research Excellence, where we can also really do the unity side very, very much. So we're working on it. All of us are thinking about it, but hopefully by the grace of God, all will go in the right direction, not in the war, conflicts, and all these crazy things you see happening in the world today. We should really move away from that. Even the science, technology, the academics, all of us should also work on this. I think that's important. So I think the China-Africa relations, to be honest with you, there is much we all can learn from China. You know, from the journey, the Chinese journey is incredible, because what they have achieved with all the problems they may have, they have achieved some extraordinary things. Like by 2021, absolute poverty, they said, is abolished in China. The GD, you know, the global, what do you call it? They have now meeting zero poverty. You know, the 17 goals. One of them is that. I mean, to achieve that is not is a serious thing, and even we should also think of India also to join, and we need to collaborate. There's a lot of extraordinary things happening also in India. So many creators, inventors, innovators. You know, very good. My brother Baskaran is very active all the time. All of you are very good, but the interesting thing we need to do is just how do we really create a situation where no one is poor, when no one is homeless, no one is shelterless, no one, you know, is not having food to eat. We need to have this situation, not just some being rich and some others being poor, but everyone has a legit lifestyle is what we need to do. So let me go to this part 7, part 8, part 9. We as but the no, you go back again. I think I think you already know the first one. We have 3 chapters again. In the first one, the China-Africa collaboration in finance and renewable energy. And again, the renewable energy is very, very important because the energy sources we have in this, for example, the solar energy, the wind energy, all these natural energies are very, very, very useful, but we're not also using them because we misuse also the energy. So we need to create renewable energy with zero carbon diet and things like that we need to think about. We need China-Africa collaboration in the health sector is very, very important, and the China-Africa economic and industrial collaboration. Let me go through each of them now. Thank you. Now, the first article is written by, I think, a Chinese scholar and I think it's a scholar from Ghana. They wrote a Sino-Ghana collaboration on the cryptization conundrum, cryptocurrency in Ghana, practices and implications. We also need how to, you know, create all these currencies we create. You know, in Africa, we try to create what's called the Afro, like the Europeans have created the Euro. But unfortunately, Sarkozy, the person who was trying to do that was called Gaddafi, and he had enough gold to create for all of Africa, not just for Libya. But then that gold was taken from him, and it was taken by the French, and then the Afro was not created. He was saying that we should also have our own currency, but we have all this cryptocurrency, all these things we have. You know, many things are now happening. My worry is that are we really able to also manage it well with the regulations that actually make sure that it's ethically just legit way of doing it. that's a very serious issue we need to work about. I think, at least on the Ghana case, he says Ghana positions itself as a major player in the digital transformation, its mobile payment solutions, and the cryptocurrency. In fact, Kenya has what's called M-Pesa. They have amazing. They really don't use currency now, the physical one. They use technology one. So things like that are happening also in some of the countries in Africa. They examines the potential of a Sino-Ghanaian collaboration to aid Ghana in the development of its cryptocurrency future. It shows really what lessons Ghana can learn from China. Was very good in the paper. The China-Ghana partnership in the fintech and in those sectors has been also very well explained in the paper. And I think the paper is very interesting. It addresses an important issue, this cryptocurrency time now. Digital warfare is also happening, and then we need to manage it because we don't want to get into a difficult time also. Okay, the next one. The next paper is on innovative technology of the smart transport and smart cities of sustainable infrastructure to support resilient economic system in China and Africa. This is done by a very good friend of mine. I call him my brother, Yuchen Wang. He's amazing. He has become a South African citizen now. He has been in South Africa for many, many years. He's Chinese. And he just he creates very strong linkages with universities from Africa to China and many scholarships. I mean, China is offering so many scholarships for many African students. You will not believe it. Many, many opportunities are open. So even my sister, Mingfeng, she was amazing. She helped the University of Gondar, I don't know, about 20 staff or something. They became doctors and they have even learned Chinese. They speak Chinese now. As Mammo speaks Chinese, perfect Chinese. He reads Chinese. so wonderful. Things like that are happening. So thanks very much. And I remember we all were together with us and you and me in the University of Gondar when we did the Globalist conference. We were together there. That was very nice. So Yuchen Wang is doing he's doing very good things here. Also on satellites, many things. There's a lot of work we're doing connecting China, and also on agriculture. Digital farming the Chinese are doing. We're also thinking about how we can learn from digital farming from China, and even Chinese farmers to come here in Africa. African farmers go to China. We're working on that too with him. He's amazing. And we're now working on smart transport cities aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals and Paris Agreement. Case study, they have the Shenzhen infrastructure innovation. The Gauteng smart mobility shows African continent. I mean, I wish we could, if there was time, we can explain these things to you. But just for you to read it, it's very, very good. If you even read the papers to see some of this so that you know what they are. So emphasize knowledge sharing and resilience building. And there's drawing some lessons also from the South African experience, not just from China, also from South Africa. What lessons can we draw? What are the problems? What are the opportunities to draw from them? What has happened? There is also on chapter 24, China's green energy investment in Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, implications for aid policy. Sub-Saharan Africa faces energy deficits amidst economic growth. That's very true. But very interesting also that, the Chinese aid approach is not like the way others aid. China does at least infrastructure, concrete outputs are there. When you see some very, very important things on the electricity side, on the infrastructure side, the railway side, many, many things are happening. They are doing. And the aid system is not the kind of aid system you have which makes you dependent. But the idea is it's to make you independent by being active and creating some infrastructure that allows you to develop your own production. So it examines China's energy. Sorry, what happened? China's energy, it went down.
Energy finance.
Huh?
Oh, you can't see the slide?
The slide, it went down. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Now?
Oh, it came back. Now it came back, yes. Now it examined China's energy finance in Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania as case studies, and the Chinese development support channeled into sectors where Western development partners have shown reluctance to engage. It targets green energy where Western aid is limited. It calls for rethinking debt policy to optimize both the technological and economic benefits of Chinese financial flows. Aid, loan, debt for Africa must be challenged. And that's basically some of these things that from the Chinese experience, we can draw some lessons from it about what the relationships are happening. Some case studies are there. All right. So some of the interesting case studies might be good to actually use them more to elaborate more. So China-Africa collaboration in the health sector under the epidemic of COVID-19. COVID-19 exposed Africa's health system fragility, and China provided crucial medical aid under the Belt Road Initiative and the Forum for China-Africa collaboration. Cooperation enhanced infrastructure but faces follow-up issues. Recommendations for sustained and effective health partnerships have been done. It was amazing what China has done during the period of the COVID-19. All the students were still doing education. A number of countries were closing it, but China never did. That's amazing also. That's the technology side too, how to use technology to do it. That's what they have done. Okay, continue. And that's 26th chapter is a critical evaluation of health diplomacy as an altruistic underpinning of China-Africa relations. And this is also, there are people here in South Africa and Zimbabwe, all the authors here, Richard Shambari, I can see, they are all together. This is very interesting. So they examine health diplomacy as soft power and foreign policy. They did China's aid seen beyond strategic interest, demonstrated by its concentration in countries with no strategic interests. They evaluate through historic aid principles and the FOCAC, and they offer alternative perspectives on China-Africa relations in the health sector. Good, okay. The health sector area is very also important, and I think there's a lot we should do, not just the COVID pandemic endemics, but also many other malaria, many things we impacts challenges we have. Yeah. And chapter 27, public perception of traditional Chinese medicine in Africa and the impact of COVID-19. Again, this is COVID-19 raised traditional Chinese medicine visibility in Africa. Survey-based study on African perception of traditional Chinese medicine explores preferences, services, choices, promotional strategies. It offers suggestions for globalizing traditional medicine. You must all know that there was a Chinese winner of a Nobel Prize who did not go to university, but was using traditional Chinese medicine to cure malaria and many things like that. It's amazing. She got a Nobel Prize. So what I'm just telling you is the traditional medicine, the traditional knowledge, the indigenous knowledge from India, from China, from Africa is so rich that we don't use it. My own aunt used to also, I always used to see her curing rabies, all these people who have many problems. But she used to get all the medicine from plants. And then she used to say to me, when I say, Talim, can I see where you get these things? Because I saw the men being treated. She said, no, you're the only one I'll tell later. But now, if I tell you, you'll tell other people and so on, and it will lose the medicinal values. That's her intellectual property. She told me like that. So I saw it when I was a child. I saw people being treated by traditional medicine. So the Chinese have a lot of traditional medicine. Indians have huge traditional medicine. You would not have climate change, anything, if you use ancient Indian. There was a professor, a doctor called Ruti. She gave a lecture on traditional the knowledge from India. It's extraordinary. I was amazed, to be honest with you. that knowledge is something is not being followed. But I think that's what we need to do. We really need to even include it in the education system, doing many, many interesting things we must do. So I think this, the other one is now you go to the next one, a framework for production collaboration. This is riding the dragon. This is Stephen Little. Professor Stephen Little is an associate professor with us here. He's a professor extraordinary with us, and he collaborates with us. We collaborate a lot, and he is very international, and also he has in the ancient. I think he has in his background, although he's from Glasgow, he also has some Indian families also linked with him because he has biology, and he's very, very nice brother. So STI collaboration hinged on mutual strength, evaluates Africa-China engagement in globalization context. It focuses on climate change and the fourth industrial revolution readiness. It stresses local capabilities and institutional support. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. And the 29 is the role of China and Western countries in the economic globalization of Africa. Who is behind the recent economic renaissance of Africa? This is written by Dr. Addis Kasahun and his wife, Dr. Rahel Balete. I think they are from Ethiopia, and they are doing very good work on the Innovation Hub. They are working on it. So now they just did on foreign direct investment of China and OECD countries. What they try to compare, which will impact and the relationship. And China's more impactful in minerals, and the OECD trade still large but declining. And they suggest African strategies to leverage both blocks. Something like that they compared. Continue. Now, chapter 30. No. Go back.
That's still
The next 31 is. Does China-Africa Economic Partnership follow the right trajectory? This is a student of mine. He used to be a student, my PhD. Now he become a professor. His name is Mulatu. He's also from Ethiopia. He did on does China-Africa Economic Partnership follow the right trajectory? Partnership yields economic momentum for Africa, highlights trade imbalances and structural challenges, warns against replicating Western-style exploitation, advocates for Africa-led institution to ensure equity. That's what he suggested. I would say he's advising China not to follow what the West have done. This is the last chapter, I think. The impact of Chinese foreign direct investment on the productivity growth in the Ethiopian manufacturing sector. This is about, okay. It uses panel data to assess foreign direct investment impacts on productivity. Chinese foreign direct investment boosts total factor productivity. Non-Chinese foreign direct investment showed negative impact at high-level tech levels. Technology gap identified as a critical factor among the other determinants of foreign direct investment. This is what he explains, that this foreign direct investment is critically important because when others invest, how do the local area participate? Their labor, do they join? What advantage, what the products they create? They're going to export, import them. Things like that is all a challenge, because what you import, what you export, always, especially for countries like in Africa, where agriculture, mineral sector is high, manufacturing is low, and we have a challenge, what we import and what we export. So things like that are also critically important. Continue. I think now the concluding remarks. This edited volume has focused on the ongoing science, China, on science, technology, and innovation collaboration between China and Africa. What's remarkable is that the tangible knowledge generated by all the contributors demonstrate the China-Africa relations on the science, technology, and innovation area is mutually beneficial without any loss by anyone and gain by another. The research output demonstrates productive and hard collaborative work in healthcare, poverty reduction, and agriculture, trade promotion, investment, digital innovation, green development, capability building, capacity building, people-to-people exchange between China and Africa states, as I told you research. We're now going to have a forum on global uh, scholar uh, research space um, space scholar meet program, and I'll be going and in fact we have a whole team we're sending to China, to Beijing in August. Um, and there's what is amazing is that with this one on the space area, they are asking a lot of people from Africa, from the rest of the world, also not just China, to actually learn how to not make the same mistake we made on Earth when we go to space, like Mars, Venus, Jupiter, everything. And the prediction is that by the year 2060, the human beings will also settle on the planet. And when we do that, we must not make mistakes. So now China is doing extraordinary work. So they are having this international forum on space education, how to educate people to do the right life, not the mistake we made here by war and many crazy things, but we should do it in a different way. That's what's happening like that. So the research, so the people-to-people relationship in China and African states, the research contributions in the book demonstrate a truly exemplary model relation is evolving between China and Africa that can generate highly valued principles in how all nations in the world must unite to create a sustainable, great green wall development in all spheres of life. That's what we are thinking, and I think that is that's mainly the conclusion. And I think the book we have done will contribute to strengthen the China long-term, productive, enduring, sustainable collaboration and cooperation, and that's what we want. And the China-Africa science, technology, innovation collaboration has to grow, must evolve, and also we must do this growth also to connect India, or the whole South, as we mentioned to you. We do that, and then without fighting the North, but to collaborate with the North, we need to do a South collaboration to have a legit way by which we can all agree and work together. And with peace, security, moral intelligence, intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, and with sincerity, honesty, humility, honesty. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Now the session is open for questions. I request the participants, if you have questions, you can ask.
Jambaru ya danana. Salam. Any questions?
Okay.
So participants, now session is open. So if you have any doubts and queries regarding the topic, you can ask the question to our panelists. I think someone have raised hand.
You can say some.
Hmm,
You can speak
I
something
think
about the book review. The book
ah,
review you are doing.
yes, I think
Can you?
participant, can you listen me?
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, so if anyone have any questions, so you can ask to editors and panelists. If any participants have any doubts.
Okay, in the meantime, if people are mulling over their questions, let me make some remarks, summary remarks, because I had to rush through my presentation. I was in the middle. Okay, I think the China-Africa collaboration is, as at the outset, Prof. Mingfeng mentioned, they are always perceived as one-dimensional, like physical infrastructure, road building, building railway, ports and airports. It's not much beyond that infrastructure building. But our book, the most important contribution of our book is it has completely falsified that notion and the perception or promoted perception. The important thing is it's multi-dimensional. The collaboration is varied. You can see from astrology, from astronomy to agriculture, smart cities to e-commerce, high-tech, digitalization, infrastructure. Uh, it's really multi-dimensional, and particularly it's also important in the future industries like renewables. China has invested hugely in renewable energy sector and agriculture sector, which are most important to Africa. It's not just yes, the infrastructures are very visible and very important. And when I was there in Ethiopia, I myself witnessed the metro was being under construction. There was a huge motorway between Addis Ababa to Adama and Adama to Hawassa, and even in the upcountry in Mammo's homeland in Gondar, in the high mountain, the roads were Chinese built. That was a huge, important contribution to the Ethiopian economy, because physical infrastructure makes a big difference to your economic growth. But at the same time, the soft, you know, building skills, training, creating human resources, expertise. That's not very visible. That's very widely happening in Africa through the aid and support of Chinese programs. That's very important. I'm sure it's also happening with India and Africa. But nobody talks about that because the infrastructure is used to depict this relationship as a dependent relationship, neo-colonial relationship, and also argue like debt trap is the famous concept they created. China is pushing countries in global south to debt trap. In that argument, they're saying they're building unwanted physical infrastructure and imposing debt burden on these small and poor countries. So that's the narrative, huh? But that's not the case. For example, the Sri Lankan issue, they always point to the Hambantota port as a white elephant built by China. You see, sometimes this kind of things happen because the local politicians or the local leaders, they want infrastructure in their country. They may have convinced the Chinese investors to build such facilities, but it's not something mistake free. So the BRI has gone through some of the trials and tribulations, but they are learning fast. But again, it's false to say that, for example, Sri Lanka was pushed into debt trap by the Chinese investment. Most of the Sri Lankan debt is owed to Western sovereign bondholders, and ADB. And other countries like India, Japan, they hold considerable debt. China holds only 4 billion debt. So this is kind of narrative they do it in Africa all the time. So this is what our book has, completely counter argued and produced evidence. It's not just physical infrastructure. It's not one dimensional. It's not just posting debt on poor countries. It's multidimensional. It creates jobs. It creates capacities. It brings skills and training and all kind of things. So and also the most important sectors like agriculture, renewable energy, which is not very very visible, but it is happening across Africa. That's my point.
Thank you so much, sir.
That's nice.
किए सर बात, आई थिंक वो नहीं तो लेटर वोटर बना रहे हैं सर, बना लीजिए अब।
We have Dr. Fatan from Iran, which is good. Tehran.
तो वो एक बार वो बन गया फिर ऑफिशियली हो जाएगा तो फिर
Why don't you say something?
सर प्लीज सर कर लीजिए सर।
Okay, I think there is a comment in the text box from Jackie, my student.
Agriculture.
Yes, thanks for very valuable introduction about the book. I'm more concerned on the agriculture and rural development. So could I have opinion from Professor Muchie on how to enhance the younger generation's engagement in the key process of China-Africa science, technology, innovation, collaboration? How we see their role in the future collaboration?
So, is that me?
Yeah, that's for you. He's saying
Yes,
how
okay.
to engage the young generation in agriculture and rural development through SIT collaboration.
The what generation?
Young generation.
The young generation.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just say, in Africa, the majority of the people still live in the rural areas. They are saying, I mean, when you hear, I don't know how true the figure is, they make it very, very high. Nearly 70% of the population, they say, is in the rural areas, not in the urban areas. If that is true, and then the majority of the people are young people. Again, the age, the people in Africa, the majority, the higher percentage is youth. Now, I think one of the things we can learn from China is, I must tell you, when Chairman Mao, whatever you may say about him, when he first, you know what he did? The first thing he did when he said, let's change China, he said, the only thing we must do first is change agriculture, change the farmer. That's what he said. And he wrote a book called Investigation of the Peasant Movement in Hunan. Hunan is the province where he was born. And that's how he started. Although he was a Marxist, but he was more Chinese. Very Chinese. I mean, he knew, he started from the reality of the challenge, the problem China is facing. Then the question then says, the only way we can change China is when we change agriculture and we change the farmer. And I think now, I think the Chinese have done a great work, because now they do digital farming. In fact, last year I was in China 3 or 4 times. I went there, and I must tell you, this good brother I have, Professor Yu Chan, I was asking him, I want to see poor people in China. Yeah, I want to see beggars or anything. I'm not seeing them, I said to him. Do you know, Mammo, if you want to see beggars, maybe electronically, he said to me. That's what he said. You know what he meant? There's no way they do this thing in the malls or anything like that. He took me to many places I couldn't see. And the most interesting thing is they have done something good, which is the agricultural system, the way they do agriculture has changed. The technology they use now is they even use digital farming. I think what we need to do is we had recently, with one of the professors from China here, we went to Pumalanga. They have great land. Uncultivable urban land in Africa is huge. Uncultivable, but they fight on the land that they farm each other. So that's what's happening because of all this politics and everything. And we said we went to the farm, to also the people who own it, the regional leaders, and we discussed what kind of relationship can we build in terms of getting some farmers also who do digital farming from China, and also you who don't do it, to go and learn from each other. We're trying to connect them. To be honest with you, we're still working on it, and I think it will happen, because they were very excited that they want to do things like that. So to change. So what we need in also, or in the rest of Africa as a whole, is we need to really try to transform using the fourth industrial revolution. We should create what I call the innovation. The, how could I call it? The innovation revolution. Almost. We need to create. We need to really do that. If we do that, we can transform agriculture, manufacture, and services with this digital time, with the current technology. If we do it like that, and we facilitate, we capacitate everyone, and even though they may not go to school, they can learn the technology. It's not a problem. Like M-Pesa, all this money, cryptocurrency, everything you see, people can do it they don't know how to read or write. They can just listen. They can just do what they need to touch, and then get whatever when they don't have money, you can send money to your grandmother, to your grandfather, and people who don't know how to read and write. You can also do it like that. This technology can be a change maker, to be honest, a game changer, if we know how to use it properly. So maybe what I suggest is, to all the youth, please, let's try to convert them and motivate them, encourage them to be doers, makers, innovators, inventors, creators, and not job seekers, but job creators in every sphere, in the agriculture sphere, in the manufacturing sphere, in the service sphere, in community service sphere. Let's do it like that. That's my suggestion to all the youth in Africa, and also learn from each other, not fight each other, not compete with each other, but collaborate. Collaboration is critically important. Without collaboration, you can't do anything. So let's do that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Mammo, I agree with you, and I want to add something here. If you look at the Africa context, the way they leapfrogged in digital technology, from no landline telecommunication or anything, suddenly they could leapfrog because of the technological revolution taking place globally, from very basic or no telecommunication infrastructure into 5G, 4G network communication infrastructure and usage. So I think the similar thing can happen in agriculture sector, from traditional farming to smart farming, with the technological revolution taking place. But the important thing is creating skills and knowledge farmers and motivating young people. So if you infuse technology to farming methods and all, then the young generation will be fascinated, because they'll be, very keen to adopt it. And this leapfrogging can take place easily in today's, because even rural young population are adapt to using digital technology and means of doing things using technology. So I think the important thing here is expanding agriculture universities, agricultural polytechnics, and introducing latest curricula, things like that. That's very important. Encourage young generation to that kind of moving into green agriculture practices, digital smart practices in agriculture and rural development.
Very good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the answers offered by Professor Mammo and Angathevar. And from my point of view, thank you very much for the audience, Mr. Du Sigui. And that's true. Africa actually is the youngest continent in the world. And how young generations, they can learn from each other and commercialize the knowledge they have learned in universities and some other areas. But from my point of view, I have seen that, for example, in China, we have over 6,000 African students are studying in China. They study in different fields, including science, engineering, and e-commerce, and many other fields. So I think the knowledge they have learned in China, and one side, they can also have some practical, skills they learn in China, because I know that some African students, they even created their business in China. I guess that in Africa, in China, if the young generations, they could jointly create knowledge-based startups, I think that will be very helpful to facilitate the science, technology, and innovation collaboration. And also, in reality, China has helped African countries to establish Luban workshops. So through these Luban workshops, China has helped Africans to train a lot of technical talents. I think these people, they actually the source of science, technology, and innovation collaboration between China and Africa. So I think generations from China, not just from China and Africa, from the BRIC countries, they can work together. And through the programs, for example, from the government side, China actually last year we have the summit of the China and Africa leaders. They have launched a series of programs. These programs covering different fields, including, for example, green innovation, healthcare, infrastructure, digital technologies, e-commerce, and so on. So the young population, young people, I think not all of them, but I believe part of them will benefit from these programs, and also between people and people, individuals. I think since China and Africa, both sides are they all willing to continue the close relationship from one generation to next generation. I am confident that the cooperation will transfer from generation to generation, not just one in the short term, but for long term. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. Now I invite Viveka to answer formal vote of thanks.
I think Professor Mammo want to.
Is it finished?
Professor Mammo want to say something. Yes, sir.
Yes. I just want to tell you two quotations from the Chinese great man. His name is Sun Yat-sen. Yeah. He says, if China follows at the heels of the imperialistic and militaristic nations, China's ascendancy to power would not only be useless, but harmful to humanity. The only glorious and honorable path for us is to pursue is to maintain in full force the old policy of helping the weak and curbing the strong. That's amazing. When the days of our prosperity come, we must not forget the pain and misery which we are now suffering from the pressures of economic and political forces of the powers. When our country becomes powerful, we should assume responsibility of delivering those nations which suffer in the same way as we do now. This is what Tahushi means, securing tranquility. This is what he said. It's very, very, very important. And where I must tell you now, with the world China is now rising as a superpower. Even India is joining, will join definitely. The BRICS are also there. We don't want them to copy the superpower maniac that the world faced with wars, world wars, and everything. We want all humanity to live in one world community. And the great leader, from what I just quoted to you, this is what the kind of education some of the people have laid down. And this must be something that all the young people generation must all learn all over the world. I think that's what I must say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we should
Vikas,
continue with the book.
Okay.
Yes, we should do more books, more
We
education.
should do a similar book on India-Africa collaboration.
India, Africa, yes.
that's
We
right.
should do that. Yes, we must do that.
Sure.
Yes.
Yesterday, yesterday I had also discussed with Professor Mingfeng about this.
Yeah.
We will do some
Yes.
collaborative work to each other in future. So
Thank you very much.
yes,
Sure, sure.
Africa,
and
China, India book.
and we have a great leader and mentor like Professor Mammo and Professor Baskaran. So they will guide us to do some good work in future.
No,
So
no, you are doing great work. You are
Honestly,
doing
you
great
are
work.
already done
You
more
are
great
doing very
work
good.
than us.
Your team is very good. You have a very nice
We
team.
really appreciate,
Yes,
what you are doing.
uh,
Honestly.
we
that's very
we
good.
we are working, but I think we had a need to take advice and guidance to some great personalities. So I think we have
Sure, sure.
Professor Mammo and Professor Bhaskaran sir, and so we will work
We will,
under.
we will do our best
Yes,
to collaborate with you and your colleagues, and we
Please,
will support you in whatever way we can, and you expect us to do
yes,
that.
we will do that.
and
Anyway, the webinar series. Can you
yes,
mention
yes, actually,
Dr.
sir.
Mikhail?
Yes. Actually, sir.
Please announce it. Yeah.
My friend Dr. Subhangi Amle has prepared a draft of the webinar. I think a wonderful
Yes.
theme which have suggested by Professor Mama Mosi. So I have also submitted the proposal to Professor Mama Mosi, and I think sir will give us date very soon. And then I will request to both editors of the this book, Professor Mingfeng and Professor Baskaran sir, that they will join that webinar. I
Sure,
think
sure.
this webinar we will going to conduct on online mode, and after this I will try to conduct international webinar in India, and then I try to invite three great personalities and also some other professors from the abroad.
Very
Yes.
good.
Sure.
So once
Yeah.
again,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much, and thank you, Ming Peng Madam, and because you you have joined us yesterday and also today, and thank you, Bhaskaran sir, Mochi sir, and all the faculty member and participants, those who had joined from the Malaysia, South Africa, and
Yeah.
also other parts of the world. And so I request to Professor Dr. Subhangi, please send the feedback
From
link
Ethiopia.
to the chat box. They fill that, and after this we will generate the certificate to each other. And please
Yes,
provide me today certificate of appreciation to Professor Mama Mochi, Professor Bhaskaran San, and Professor Tang. And I will send to my technical team, and they will send to them. Yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you
Thank
And
you.
so much.
I will send the recording
Thank
of this session, Professor
Thank you,
Mama
sir.
Moses, to you. And if YouTube is working in your country, Professor Tang, then I will provide to you also. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaskar to
Thank you.
all. My namaskar to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
attending this seminar.